For over 20 years, One Piece fans treated Yasopp like a joke, the boring sniper of the Red Hair Pirates. The guy who never fought, who just stood behind Shanks the whole time. But in September 2024, a single chapter tore that idea apart for good. One single shot, fired from a distance where no other sniper in the world could even see the target, wiped an entire new world ship off the map. And here's the worst part, that might just be the tip of the iceberg of what this man can actually do, because if you pay attention to what Oda has been planting about Usopp's father since Chapter 1, one simple question becomes impossible to ignore. Why did one of the 4 emperors personally go after this man, in a forgotten village in the East Blue, before he even had a crew? Okay, let's break this down. Yasopp is one of the senior officers of the Red Hair Pirates and the crew's official sniper. He's also Usopp's father, and he's been in the story since Chapter 1, back in Syrup Village, when Luffy was still a kid staring at Shanks' crew in the bar, and ever since that first appearance, Yasopp never left Shanks' side. But unlike Ben Beckman or Lucky Roo, he never got a real combat moment shown in the manga, for over 1,000 chapters. That's exactly why most of the fandom just forgot about him whenever the topic is power rankings, but that's a huge mistake, because everything Oda has revealed about Yasopp in the official databook for the Red movie, known as Volume 4 Billion, and in the handful of scenes where he actually does something, shows a character way above what any ordinary sniper could be. His story with the Red Hair Pirates starts about 22 years before the current timeline. Shanks, still building his crew, heard about an extremely skilled sniper living in a quiet village in the East Blue, and he didn't send anyone to check it out. He personally went after Yasopp himself. Think about that for a second. Shanks was already a rising pirate, about to head into the Grand Line, and he still thought it was worth crossing the East Blue just to recruit a sniper from a small village. That alone says a lot about what Shanks saw in him before he'd even set foot on a log pose, but it's chapter 957 where things get really serious. In that chapter, Vice Admiral Branu presents the 4 Yonko crews to Marine recruits, and when she gets to the Red Hair Pirates, she calls out 3 names directly: Ben Beckman, Lucky Roo, and Yasopp, saying all 3 were already famous worldwide before they even joined Shanks' crew, and that this is the Yonko crew with the highest average bounty among its members. That means something important. Unlike other Yonko crews, where there's a massive gap between the captain and everyone else, in the Red Hair Pirates the commanders are much closer to the captain's own level, and that's exactly where things start getting strange. Okay, stay with me here, because now we're getting into the part most fans just skip right past. Yasopp's nickname isn't random. He's known as Chaser, and according to the Volume 4 Billion databook itself, that nickname exists because his targets simply don't escape. He never misses his aim, and once he's locked on, the target can't outrun the shot. But the most shocking detail in the databook isn't about his aim. It's about Haki. The Volume 4 Billion describes Yasopp as someone who has mastered Observation Haki to such an advanced level that he can see his own future, and it suggests that this ability might surpass even Katakuri's. I had to reread that part 3 times just to make sure I understood it right. Katakuri, who's treated as one of the greatest masters of advanced Observation Haki in the entire story, getting put behind Usopp's dad. And this isn't just fan speculation floating in a vacuum. In chapter 1079, when Shanks arrives near Elbaf, he directly asks Yasopp to check whether the Kid Pirate's wounds from Wano had already healed. Yasopp answers, looking off into the distance, "They look perfectly healthy, Captain." He wasn't just looking. He was sensing an enemy's physical condition from an absurd distance, using nothing but Haki. Right after that, in that same chapter, Shanks himself uses advanced Observation Haki to see Kid's attack coming before it happens, and wins the duel with a single strike. And here's the connection nobody makes. Shanks is the Conqueror's Haki specialist. Ben Beckman is the Armament Haki specialist, strong enough to stop bullets with his bare hands. And Yasopp is the name that keeps coming up whenever observation is the topic. It's not a coincidence that the crew's 3 pillars are each masters of a different type of Haki, and that's exactly the kind of detail Oda never leaves lying around by accident. So let's build this out carefully, because every piece here supports the next. If Yasopp really has mastered Observation Haki to the level of extended future sight, not just a half-second flash like most users, but longer stretches, the way the databook suggests, then he's not just a good sniper. He might be the single deadliest sniper in the entire story. Think about it. A sniper who can see the future doesn't need to react to the target's movement. He shoots where the target is going to be, not where it is right now. That completely reframes the chaser nickname. It's not about chasing targets down physically. It's about never losing, because he already knows how the escape ends before it even begins. And that brings us straight to chapter 1126, which is finally where Oda decided to show that power in action. In that chapter, the pirate Bartolomeo, captain of the Bardo Club and Luffy's #1 fan, had burned the Red Hair Pirates flag on their territory 7 years earlier. In the cover story of chapter 875, Shanks came to personally collect on that debt. Shanks tested Bartolomeo's loyalty with poison, which turned out to be fake, and after seeing that Bartolomeo was willing to drink the deadly poison himself just to protect Luffy, he decided to let him go. But as the Bardo Club's ship was pulling away, trying to escape, Yasopp stepped out from behind Shanks, and Beckman raised his rifle and said, "All right, boss, step aside. Business is business. One shot, one bullet." The going Luffy Senpai, the Bardo Club's ship, decorated with Luffy's own figurehead, was completely destroyed in a single explosion. The crew's fate, according to the manga's own narration, was left unknown. That's not the behavior of some background character. Shanks had already handled the situation. He'd already forgiven them. And Yasopp still decided, on his own, that there was one more lesson to teach, and nobody on that ship stopped him. And this is where everything clicks into place in a way most people never stopped to notice during the Battle of Marineford. When the Red Hair Pirates showed up to end the war, Yasopp aimed his gun directly at Van Augur, the official sniper of the Black-Beard Pirates. Sniper against sniper, face to face, in the middle of the most important battlefield in the story's recent history, and Van Augur isn't just anybody. He's described as one of the best snipers in the world, someone capable of hitting birds flying from a distance so great that the island he was shooting from wasn't even visible to the naked eye. Even so, facing Yasopp, the confrontation never happened. Blackbeard backed off and pulled his crew out. Sounds harmless, right? But here's the detail that changes everything. After that standoff, Van Augur ate the Wapu Wapu no Mi, a fruit that gives him short-range teleportation, officially confirmed in chapters 1063 and 1093. That means when this confrontation happens again in the final saga, Van Augur won't just be a long-range sniper standing in one fixed spot anymore. He can teleport mid-fight, creating attack angles that are impossible to predict. But if Yasopp really can see the future for extended stretches of time, teleportation loses most of its advantage. It doesn't matter where Van Augur moves to. If Yasopp has already seen where he's going to appear, the shot is already on its way before the teleport even happens. And honestly, that completely changes how I look at a confrontation that's been building for over 10 years of manga. Now think about the bigger picture. The Red Hair Pirates are, for the first time, dead center of the final saga. Shanks is hunting down road poneglyphs, collecting old debts, getting closer and closer to a direct confrontation with Blackbeard, who, based on everything shown so far, is Shanks' true rival. Heading into the endgame, if that were between emperors, is really coming, and more chapters keep pointing that way. Then the duel between Yasopp and Van Augur stops being a side detail and becomes one of the most anticipated fights of the story's final stretch. Two of the best snipers in the world, one of them with a teleport power he hasn't even fully mastered yet, the other with a read on the future that might surpass Katakuri's, and there's another layer connecting all of this in One Piece Film Red. It's revealed that Usopp and Yasopp can sync their observation haki across a distance, even while standing in completely different worlds, to coordinate an attack against Tot Musica. If father and son really share that level of connection through haki, it makes sense that Oda is building both of them in parallel. Usopp slowly developing his own observation haki, while his father is already treated behind the scenes as one of the greatest living names in that ability. That means when Usopp finally reunites with his father, something Yasopp himself admits in chapter 1054, he's not ready to face yet. The reunion might not just be emotional. It could be the moment the family's sniper legacy is finally revealed in full, with Usopp discovering exactly how far his father's power really goes. So let's put it all together. a man personally recruited by a future emperor in a forgotten village in the East Blue, one of the three pillars that make the Red Hair Pirates the most balanced Yonko crew in the story. An observation Haki user so advanced that the official material itself suggests he might see further into the future than Katakuri. A sniper capable of wiping an entire new world ship off the map with a single shot, and one who did it entirely on his own. After his own captain had already considered the matter closed, how did this man spend over 1,000 chapters being treated like a joke? Personally, I think Oda has been holding Yasopp back on purpose from the very start, dropping one clue here, another one there, knowing that only once the final saga arrived would fans finally put all the pieces together. And if I'm right, the duel between Yasopp and Van Augur won't just be another side fight. It'll be the moment the entire world of One Piece finds out that the Red Hair Pirate's boring sniper might actually be the greatest sniper this story has ever had, if this theory is right. It changes how we're going to read every single Yasopp appearance from here on out. But I want to know what you think. Do you believe Oda is really going to give Yasopp a real fight before the series ends, or is he staying pure support forever? Drop your theory in the comments. And if you want to fully understand the true power of Shanks' right-hand man, the video on Ben Beckman is linked right here on screen.